What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You're dead meat!
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
The movie begins with a
Mortal Kombat!
fuck yeah! The movie begins, once again, with a
Mortal Kombat!
only this time I can't get excited about it, knowing what's ahead. The movie begins, like many a social interaction in 2020, with a Zoom call. The movie begins on a bay.
A bay of blood.
The movie begins with its mysterious and menacing score, composed by Bo Harwood and Lance Rubin. The movie begins with a car driving around the bend into a title card, making it a title card. The movie begins with some Dawn of the Dead music that I'm too afraid to play for you because of copyright. The movie begins on a shaggy red wall. Wake up now, little lady, it's time for a title card. The movie begins in a fancy study. Damn, this place is picture perfect. I don't think anything could disrupt the tranquility of— and a dude just fell through the ceiling. The movie begins in a sparse white room. Looks like it's the calendar room. Aw, we missed Halloween. Oh, month's over, lady. Better flip the page. Just kidding, zombies say it's Halloween forever! The music video begins with swish pans reorienting the viewer into this world. The movie begins in a quarantine zone. Quarantined because its roadkill has a nasty habit of becoming road unkill. The movie begins with a gorgeous tapestry that gives way to a snowy tableau. Wait, this ain't no middle of summer. This some winter shit if I've ever seen it. The movie begins with a waitress taking out the trash. The movie begins on a chicken farm. The movie begins with a story crawl. It's backstory about Psycho Gorman that we'll learn about later. The movie begins with an overhead shot that gets needlessly spoily by time it zooms in, so let's skip it. Love seeing those Detroit houses though. The movie begins at Camp Crystal Lake in 1958. The movie begins 2 months after the first film ended, with a kid splashing through a rainy street way too recklessly. Stupid kid, gotta look out for sewer clowns, brah. And Jason! The movie begins with Maya Hawke. We love Maya Hawke. She's so damn charming in Stranger Things 3. The movie begins with, oh good, a recap. I mean, this one did come out a whole 16 months after part 2. Better remind everyone of Ginny's mommy imitation that helped her escape the wrath of Baghead Jason. The movie begins with a previously on. The movie begins with a previously on delivered to us by Paul Holt. Paul Holt! The movie begins with another recap. Thanks for keeping us current, Fear Street. Or, I guess we're in the past now. That's cool too. The movie begins in the pouring rain with a wet banana walking around in rain boots. The movie begins on a dark and smoky night, establishing a kindred spirit with old gothic Universal monster flicks. The movie begins with a recap montage, immediately making this feel more like the first 4 films than the last 2. The movie begins with a helicopter approaching from the distance. If you like kick-ass landscape shots, you're in for a treat, my friend. The movie begins with narration establishing a dark urban tone.
We live in claustrophobia. A land of steel and concrete, trapped by dark waters.
Oh shit, and Batman's in Times Square? Get out of the way, title card! I was looking at Burton Batman! The movie begins with 2 credits, a new one and an old one. The movie begins with a screaming brat. Okay, God! The movie begins in a fictional 2008 at the Crystal Lake Research Facility. The movie begins with fireworks. Hide your dogs in trauma, y'all! The movie begins in a boiler room, cause Freddy's first build in this battle. The movie begins in the quiet town from the first film, but it's not quiet out of necessity just yet. The movie begins in 1980. We getting a prologue, motherfuckers! The movie begins at a cemetery mansion, which oversees graves made of stretch fabric. The movie begins with filthy fingernails, and that dirt digger's buying a box. The movie begins with the title card. Hold up, that's the old one though. Yeah, we getting a little recap because the first 2 Hellraisers are tight. The movie begins on the streets of New York, where a Frank Cotton looking punk is hitting up an art gallery after hours. The movie begins with a nipple, again. The movie begins with a pretty good looking space station called the Minos in the year 2127. The movie begins in Japan in 1617 at the compound of Hanzo Hasashi. The movie begins with a Britpop song called Clown, perfect for our title card. The movie begins begins with a shadow puppet show of police brutality. The movie begins on Christmas Eve in 1947, the year the US gifted post-war Europe the Marshall Plan. The movie begins in Mexico, right by the border wall.
The movie begins with an Alias-style title card, leading to a man peeing all over a matte painting. The movie begins with another simple and shaky title card, followed by a very special credit you'll be seeing in every movie after this. The movie begins with a Scream 3 fonted title card that they leave on just long enough to trick people into thinking this is the first film. The movie begins with more simple titles, but in an old-timey font because we're in 1889, y'all. The TV show within the movie begins with a Burt Gummer title card. The movie begins with a rant from me. That is not snow! That is a sand dune! You cannot tint sand blue in post-production and then throw a layer of digital snow over it, making your South African movie take place in Canada. I'm from Chicago. I know snow. Just film actual snow. The movie begins on the Singer Castle-less Dark Island, filmed in Thailand this time.